There is a peculiar hum that begins, almost imperceptibly, beneath the noise of your everyday life. At first you might mistake it for something else, a passing anxiety perhaps, a bout of melancholy, the simple exhaustion that comes from playing your part in the grand, bustling enterprise of the world for 30 or 40 or 50 years. But it persists. It's a low-frequency vibration in your soul, a quiet question that whispers in the space between your thoughts. You might be in a meeting, listening to projections for the next quarter, surrounded by people who seem to nod with a certainty you can no longer access, and the hum gets louder. You might be at a family gathering, listening to the same 7 stories being told for the 100th time, and you feel a strange sense of distance, as if you are watching a play through a thick pane of glass. You look at the life you've built, the goals you were told to chase, the person you were supposed to become, and a single, terrifying question surfaces. Is this it? Is this all there? You question the career path. You question the relationship. You question the news, the politics, the very fabric of the reality that has been presented to you as non-negotiable. And with this questioning comes a profound sense of isolation. You feel as though you've woken up in a house where everyone else is still dreaming, and you are trying desperately not to make a sound, not to disturb their peaceful slumber. You start to think something is wrong with you. Why can't you just be happy? Why can't you just play along like everyone else? They seem fine. They seem to believe in it all. Their laughter is real. Their concerns are genuine. Their ambitions are sincere. But yours have started to feel like a costume you've been wearing for so long. The fabric has begun to irritate your skin. But what if I were to tell you that this feeling, this deep, unsettling questioning of everything, is not a symptom of you being broken? What if it is, in fact, the first, faint, unmistakable sign that you are becoming whole? What if this discomfort is not the beginning of a breakdown, but the rumbling of a profound awakening? The truth is, that hum you hear is the sound of your own consciousness, stirring from a long collective dream. The problem isn't that you've lost your way. The problem is that you're finally beginning to see the path you've been on, and you're starting to wonder if it leads anywhere you truly want to go. You see, the society we've constructed is a magnificent and elaborate stage play. It's a work of performance art on a planetary scale. From the moment we are born, we are handed a script. We are taught our lines, given our costumes, and shown our marks on the stage. There are heroes and villains, winners and losers. There are very specific props you are meant to acquire: the right car, the right house, the right title on your business card. There is a very specific plot you are meant to follow. Go to school, get a job, get married, have 2.5 children, accumulate wealth, and then, at the very end of the performance, take a quiet bow and exit stage left. And for the play to work, there is one single, unspoken rule that everyone must follow. You must never, ever admit that you are acting. You must believe in your character with 100% of your being. You must believe that the stage is the entire world, that the props are real treasures, and that the applause of the audience is the only thing that matters. The people you see around you, the ones who seem so content, so sure of themselves, they are simply very, very good actors. They have learned their lines so well, they have forgotten they are lines. They have worn their costumes for so long they believe it is their skin. They are not lying to you. They are lying to themselves, but with such profound conviction that it has become their truth. Your pain, your questioning, your sense of alienation, it does not stem from a personal failure to adapt. It stems from the fact that you, for whatever reason, have started to see the backstage. You've caught a glimpse of the ropes and pulleys. You've noticed the sets are made of painted cardboard. You've heard the whispers of the director in the wings. You are an actor who is slowly realizing they are in a play. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to delivering your lines with the same blind conviction. Your exhaustion isn't from failing at the game. Your exhaustion is from the immense, draining effort of pretending you still believe the game is real. Every polite smile, every nod of agreement at a meeting about things that feel fundamentally meaningless. Every time you bite your tongue instead of screaming, "But don't you see? This is all made." It drains a little more of your life force. You are a lucid dreamer in a world of sleepwalkers, and your loneliness is the price of your lucidity. This is the great secret they don't tell you. The system, the game, the play. It requires your unthinking participation to function. It thrives on your belief. It is powered by your anxiety to fit in, your fear of being left behind. It sells you the cure to a loneliness that it itself creates. It offers you little paper trophies for running on a gilded hamster wheel, and tells you that your exhaustion is a sign of your dedication. But you've started to get tired of running. You've started to wonder about the world outside the cage. And that is where the real journey begins. So let us talk about this failure of yours. Let us take it apart piece by piece and look at it not as a flaw, but as a newfound power. This is the great reframing, the turning of the key in a lock you didn't even know was there. You feel lost, don't you? You feel as though the map you were given is useless, that all the signposts are pointing in circles. You see others marching with such purpose, such direction, and you feel adrift on a vast, featureless ocean. They are climbing their ladders, and you're not even sure you want to be on a ladder at all. Good. Congratulations. To feel lost is the first prerequisite to finding a new way. The people who march with such certainty are not explorers. They are tourists on a pre-packaged tour. They are walking on a path that has been paved and repaved 1,000,000 times. It is safe, it is predictable, and it leads exactly where it promises, to the same gift shop at the end. You, on the other hand, have crumpled up the map. You have looked at the pristine, well-trodden path and felt a deep, instinctual pull toward the uncharted wilderness. Being lost isn't a sign that you are without direction. It is a sign that you are no longer willing to accept a direction that was not chosen by you. It is the beginning of drawing your own map. Yes, the wilderness is frightening. There are no signposts. There are no guarantees. But there is also something else, the possibility of discovering something new, something real, something that hasn't been curated, packaged, and sold. Your feeling of being lost is the beginning of true freedom. The ship is meant to leave the harbor. It feels dangerous and uncertain compared to the safety of the docks, but the entire purpose of a ship is the open sea. You are not a broken vessel. You are a vessel that has finally remembered what it was built for. And what about this crushing loneliness? This feeling of being a ghost at the feast, surrounded by people, but connected to none. You try to engage in the small talk, the discussions about television shows and office politics and weekend plans, and it feels like you are trying to speak a language you have forgotten. The words feel like ash in your mouth. This is not a failure of your social skills. It is the evolution of your soul's palate. You have spent years consuming the social equivalent of fast food, quick, easy, superficially satisfying, but ultimately empty of nutrition. Now, your soul is craving a real meal. It is craving authenticity. It is starving for a conversation that touches upon something true. Your loneliness is not a lack of people. It is a lack of resonance. It is the ache of a tuning fork that has been struck and is vibrating at its true frequency, waiting in a silent room for another fork to sing back. The small talk and the social performances, they are just noise. They cannot create a resonant frequency. So you stand in the crowd, humming your true note inaudibly, and feel utterly alone. But this solitude is not a punishment. It is a filtration system. It is your consciousness putting up a boundary, saying, I will no longer engage in that which is not real. I will no longer betray myself with false. This is an act of profound self-respect. It is a dignified solitude. You are not an outcast. You are a sanctuary. And in time, other people who are also humming their true note, who are also tired of the noise, will be drawn to the quiet integrity of your silence. Then there is the cynicism, the negativity you are accused of. You look at the world, at the institutions, at the ambitions of others, and you see the cracks. You see the hypocrisy. You see the fear masquerading as confidence, the greed masquerading as ambition, the desperation masquerading as happiness. People tell you to be more positive, to look on the bright side, but what they are really asking you to do is to become blurry in your vision. Your so-called cynicism is not a negative outlook. It is clarity. It is the astonishing and sometimes painful ability to see things as they are, not as they are presented. It is like a person who was born colorblind and suddenly, one day, begins to see the full spectrum. You are not just seeing black and white anymore. You are seeing the subtle, sickly green of envy, the bright, false yellow of a forced smile, the deep, bruised purple of unspoken grief. It can be overwhelming. You look at a confident politician and you don't just hear the speech. You see the trembling fear of inadequacy behind his eyes. You see a perfectly curated social media feed, and you don't just see the happy vacation. You see the quiet desperation for validation that fuels it. This is not cynicism. It is a form of compassion that is so deep, it is almost unbearable. You are seeing the wound beneath the armor. It's a difficult gift to carry, this clarity. It's like being the only sober person at a drunken party. You see the clumsiness, the slurred speech, the forced laughter for what it is. And it makes you feel apart from it all. But do not mistake this clarity for a curse. It is the tool that allows you to navigate the world without being fooled by its illusions. It is the beginning of wisdom. And finally, let's talk about that dwindling motivation. The fire you once had for climbing the corporate ladder, for earning more, for achieving the next big thing, it has cooled to embers. You look at the prizes the world offers, and they seem like toys for children. You feel lazy, unproductive, of failure. You see others hustling, grinding, sacrificing their lives for a future promotion, and you just can't. This is perhaps the most profound sign of your awakening. You have not lost your ambition. You have outgrown the ambitions of the collective. Why would a person who has tasted real water continue to thirst for sand? You have instinctively understood a deep truth. Most of what the world calls success is a consolation prize for a surrendered soul. It is a reward for playing the game well. But you are no longer interested in winning the game. You are interested in leaving the casino altogether. Your lack of motivation is not lethargy. It is the soul's quiet rebellion. It is your inner being refusing to expend its finite and precious energy on pursuits that it knows, on a cellular level, are hollow. It is the wisdom of the body and the spirit saying, "No, I will not trade my precious hours of being alive for a number in a bank account. No, I will not sacrifice my peace of mind for a title. No, I will not betray my quiet inner truth for the loud applause of the crowd. This is not failure. This is the ultimate act of self-preservation. It is the sacred pause before you begin to invest your energy in what truly matters. A sense of presence, a moment of genuine connection, a flash of beauty, a quiet act of love. You are not unmotivated. You are simply motivated at last by the right things. And so, where does this leave you? In this new strange landscape where the old maps are useless and the old language feels foreign, it leaves you in a place of quiet power. At first, it will feel like silence, not the uncomfortable silence of an awkward pause in conversation, but a deep, resonant silence. The silence that falls after a deafening machine has finally been turned off. For years, your mind has been filled with the noise of what you should be, what you should want, what you should do. Now that noise is fading, and into that silence, something else can finally arise, your own voice. You will begin to find joy in things the game has no reward for. The way the light filters through the trees on a Tuesday afternoon, the taste of a simple meal prepared with care, the profound unspoken connection with an animal, a genuine conversation with one other person that lasts for 3 hours and feels like 5 minutes. These become the new treasures. The goal ceases to be getting somewhere and becomes simply being. You stop trying to steer the river. You stop trying to dam it up or speed its passage. You realize that you are not the boatman struggling against the current. You are the river. The struggle was the illusion, the questioning, the pain, the alienation. It was all just the friction of the river finally breaking down the artificial dams that had been built to contain it. This path is not an easy one. There will be moments of doubt. The siren song of the old world, the world of certainty and belonging, is very strong. You will see the happy dreamers and long for the simplicity of their sleep. This is normal, but you can't go back. And you wouldn't, not really, because what you have gained is worth more than all the treasures in the world's imaginary game. You have gained yourself. So, the next time that hum begins, the next time the questions arise, the next time you feel that ache of loneliness in a crowded room, do not mistake it for a sign that you are broken. Do not rush to fix it or numb it or distract yourself from it. Instead, be still. Listen to it. That feeling is a compass. That discomfort is a guide. It is the voice of your truest self, telling you that you are facing the right direction. It is the North Star of your own unique and sacred journey. It is reminding you that you are not a problem to be solved. You are a mystery to be lived, and you are, finally, after all this time, on the right path. The one that leads not to a destination defined by others, but back to the astonishing, terrifying, and beautiful truth of who you really are.